me to give this MVP trophy out. Let me see here. Jayson Tatum.
You too. How's everyone doing? Jags to Riches, James Peters. Thank you all so much for your time. Off-season mode, guys. But today it's going to be a little different. I'm going to introduce a new series, if you will, where basically I just look back at the 2021-2022 season and just review it. And instead of doing it in its entirety and, everyone at once, I think, it is a good chance that some of the slower days of summer are going to be coming up once summer league ends. So I'm thinking just to do individual player reviews. Tatum, Brown, Smart, and it'll be for anyone that is going to potentially be on the roster this year. Good chance I do a Brogdon one. I might even do Brad and E-Mate. Just a look back. And I'm starting today with Tatum, not just for the simple fact that it's my favorite player, in the league. No secret. I think he is spectacular. I mean, I have been a Boston Celtics fan since the day I was born. So, again, my favorite player has pretty much always been for them. Paul Pierce, pretty much my favorite of all time, KG, and now to Tatum. So I am going to be biased in this video. But why I am really starting with him, it is simply based on the fact of just the amount of slander and borderline disrespect that you are seeing out there among the masses after his finals performance. Now, I will be the first to say that that was by far his lowest moment of the season, his worst series I can remember. And I do agree that in order for them to win a championship, he has to be better. Like, they can make all the moves and adjustments and this and that, but ultimately it comes down to your superstar number one having to play better than he did in that series. I can agree with everyone on that, but it's just so crazy how people then overreact based off of a single game or a single 6-game series. Like, and to give you an example, if you would scroll on YouTube after that game 6, there was literally polls where people were asking who's the best player in the world, and it was like 100K votes. Like, so it wasn't just, it was a large amount, and it's like 60% say Steph Curry, and like 25 say Giannis, that type of crazy shit. All of a sudden Steph Curry's the best player in the entire world. It's just, so the overreactions, it's just, you can expect them, but all of a sudden, it's like now Tatum isn't a superstar. He's not a top 10 player. He can't lead a team. He's not a number one. Jaylen Brown is better. It's just like, I'm just listening to all this, and it's like, as Roy Jones Jr. would say, y'all must have forgot. So we'll start right off the bat with who is Jayson Tatum, 24-year-old, 6'8", 9-ish, 210, 215, definitely continuing to put on some size and muscle. We've seen that, kind of a transition, putting on, I'd probably say at least 10 pounds of, solid muscle coming into the season. So hopefully going that Giannis route, by the time he's 26 and being stacked up. So anyways, some of his accomplishment, guys: 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, total of 5 seasons. He's gone to 3 Eastern Conference Finals, and obviously now gone on to a finals run. He's also a gold medalist. Looking at this season, as in 21-22, that would be one of his All-NBA accomplishments. He made first team All-NBA, first time in his career. He was another, again, third consecutive All-Star starter, and he was a 4-time Player of the Week. 3 of the 4 were in the month of March alone, and you'll start to see a trend with that month of March here soon. His overall stats, and what I'm about to say, basically every major category, career highs for Jayson Tatum this year. He averaged just under 27 points at 26.9 points per game, right at 8.0 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 76 total starts. Again, all 3 of those are career highs. looking closer at some of his actual regular season performances, 29 games, he scored 30 or more. He had 5 40-plus point games, including a back-to-back 40 or more performance, which was against the Nets and Hornets, which was the first time that had been done since Isaiah Thomas's incredible 2017 run. He also had a 51-point performance January 23rd against the Washington Wizards, where he would actually shoot 64% from the field, 9 for 14 from the three, 10 rebounds and 7 assists, and like I said, a 51-point performance. He would also have a 54-point performance against the Brooklyn Nets on March 6th. He was 6 for 30 from the field, 8 for 15 from the three, and that was that game that him and KD dueled, where Tatum had 54 to Kevin Durant's 37. Now, remember when I talked about the consecutive back-to-back 40-point games, that just happened to be Charlotte, where he scored 44, and this Brooklyn game where he actually scored 54. So one of the two performances was a 50-point game. He also had 22 double-doubles. And before I actually get into the playoffs, just want to get back onto that month of March a little bit more. Like I said, because for me, there was a video, I think right around the first, maybe early in the second week of March, I dropped called Jayson Tatum Officially Reaches Superstardom, I think was the title. I'll actually put it up here if you want to check it out. And it was because I thought in the month of March, that was when he took that final step, and I thought he could, it was no longer disputed. Like, he started off that month. These are his first 5 games of the month. 33, 37, 54, 44, 31. Like, that's the type of run we're talking about. Again, 3-time player of the week in that month. And I forget what that is, a record. I don't know if it was him being the youngest player to ever accomplish it or something along those lines. But that was, to me, that was the month where it just solidified everything that he had accomplished throughout this year. And when you look at a month-to-month breakdown, only 6 games in the month of October, but he would come out hot, averaging over 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists in those 6 games. Now, November, even though it was a good month for the Celtics, I think we went 9-6, something along those lines. It was his low month of the season where he actually averaged 23 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, December, we struggled. You know, if you'll remember, we talked about the gauntlet of December and how brutal it was going to be, and it was. I think we went like 5-10 or 6-9. It was basically the exact opposite of what we did in November. However, Tatum did actually have 28 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists throughout the month. And that is actually, we finished the month on a strong note, beating the Phoenix Suns. And that would set up the month of January 2022. And that is when things started to change, obviously around the time at the end when Smart came back. If you'll remember, that was the month we basically spent the majority of it, especially early portions, kind of battling in their 500-ish, trying to get there. And I think it was towards the end, maybe like January 25th, we officially and finally hit 500 and then would not go back under it. And then, like I said, that was right around the time Smart returned. And then we would start like the 9-game win streaks and 21 out of 23 and all that crazy shit that they did. But in the month of January for Tatum, he would average 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4.5 assists. He would then follow that up in February, averaging 25 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And then, of course, setting up the month of March, where he would average 33 points, just under 7 rebounds, and 5 assists while shooting 54% from the field and over 45% from 3. It was absolutely spectacular. And like I said, to me, seeing and watching the entirety of his career, that was maybe the best stretch of consistent basketball I've ever seen. I remember I read you the first 5 games, and like I said, the totality of it, he finished still averaging over 30 damn 3 points. Man, it was incredible. Now, going into the playoffs, 24 total games on an NBA Finals run that would end in a Game 6 loss to the champion Golden State Warriors. Again, congrats to Golden State. And again, Looking just going briefly through each of the series. First, he had again 7 30-plus point performances, and he actually had 3 29-point games. So damn near had 10 30-plus point games, but he actually, like I said, finished with 7. I would say probably his best performance would have been that game 6 against the Bucks. Now remember, we were down 3-2 heading back to Milwaukee against the champs, needing to win back-to-back games in order to advance to the ECF. And he would come out after, having like some lackluster moments, especially I think a game 3 where he had 10 points, but game 6, just when everyone was calling for a Jayson Tatum, performance, he would have 46 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 53% from the field, and I believe he was 7 for 15 from 3. Now, he would open up his actual playoffs with that game 1 buzzer beater win layup against the frozen Kevin Durant, and that incredible play where Jaylen Brown penetrates, finds Smart not shooting, gets a double, a pump fake, 2 guys go flying, and it's, again, doesn't shoot it and finds a cutting Jayson Tatum while KD is watching, spins off a Kyrie to win it.
5 seconds. Passing Smart. Looking 2 seconds. Tatum. Layup. God! Holy crap. Jayson Tatum.
I mean, that was a instant classic like game 1 and a hell of a way to start off that series. Now, he would go on, and I want you to pay attention to the minutes. He would go on to average just under 42 minutes a game throughout this 4-game sweep, 29.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists. He would shoot 46% from the field and 42% from 3. Again, that was a 4-0 win for the Boston Celtics. However, the semis against the Bucks was a completely different story. That was a 7-game, again, instant classic war, just a back and forth battle. One of the best series of recent memory for me. And that was watching Giannis and what he did. I think he averaged, like I said, like damn near 35 and 15. I mean, he had a run where it was like 3 out of 4 games he scored over 40. He had a 40 and 20 rebound game. It was insane. It was hard to really comprehend what that guy was doing. And the fact that even without Middleton, that he was carrying this team. Giannis is spectacular and the best player in the world for a reason. But in that series, again, the minutes, Jayson Tatum would average 41 minutes a game, just under 28 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 43% from the field, 37% from 3. And like I said, that's where that game 6, 46-point performance and a must win to force a game 7 in which we would actually win to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, where the Miami Heat would be waiting. He would again play just under 41 minutes a game, and this was a 7-game series where it was just, this was one of those ones, Celtics fans will know what I mean, where it was just, you feel like you should have been able to put this damn Heat team away earlier, but they were so resilient. Jimmy Butler, doing Jimmy Butler shit, him and Bam kind of had like their down moments. I think Jimmy actually dealing with an injury, but as the series continued, especially for Jimmy Butler late, he started to do some spectacular and have incredible performances. And who didn't think him shooting that 3-pointer down by 2 wasn't going in? Wow. I mean, that ended up being a hell of a series. And, a little bit of a rivalry starting, a new modern age rivalry. Obviously they beat us in 2020 bubble year to advance to the finals. We beat them this year to advance to the finals. And, it doesn't seem like either one of us are going anywhere. They're heavily involved in the KD trade talks. I mean, even if they're not, they have a hell of a squad. So that would set up the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. He would play just under 41 minutes a game again. He would average 21.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now, this is where the criticism, and I am as big on, like I said, than anyone, it is how inefficient, and he just shot the ball like shit. 37% from the field. I believe it was like a historic all-time shit performance because on a minimum amount of attempts, it was bad. And the irony behind that is he was shooting 45.5% from 3. So it's like he's shooting 37% from the field, but 45% from three. But the reason I was so big on the minutes throughout those playoffs is because a lot of people are so quick to, just jump on him. And I mean, but this guy, first off, going all the way back to the Olympics and the gold medal run, obviously a regular season run which he played, 76 starts, all-star weekend he was playing, no downtime. And then in the playoffs, I mentioned this the other day with Bobby. In the last 10 years, there's only been 2 players that have played over 950 minutes in a playoff run. One being LeBron James, the other one was Jayson Tatum. Tatum would play a total of 983 minutes in 24 games. That was just in the playoffs, right? Kyrie Irving barely played over 1,000 for the entire series. You all's Lord and Savior Steph Curry played 764. So it's like people need to really put that into perspective. And another thing, everything is based off of this one series, right? Because remember, and I've shown this graphic a few times, going into the series, this is how both of these gentlemen were performing, right? Tatum outscoring him 27-26, out rebounding him obviously, and damn near right there with him assists, 5.9 to 6.2, steals a little bit on the edge there, and then 3 points, 38 to 37.5. Who would you say was having the better performance? And then talk about competition, big difference between who Steph had to go through and who we went through with obviously Miami and the Bucks and the 7th seeded, Nets that everyone wanted us to avoid, and we ended up sweeping. So again, this guy was phenomenal. Go look. There was videos all over the damn place talking about how Tatum was having one of the greatest playoff runs ever, blah, blah, blah. And so it's about one series, right? Essentially, this one bad series is what's tarnished everything for him. So how about this? Let's throw this out here, and I just want to see how people take this. 2016, the finals, Steph Curry, remember, that was the year that they lost to the Cavs in a historic collapse where they were up 3-1 and ended up losing 4-3. That series, he averaged 22, 5, and 3.5 assists. So again, Tatum, 21.5 points, 7 and 7. Curry in that final series that they lost, 22, 5, and 4. You want to get a little bit more into it? That same year, the opening round against the Houston Rockets, Steph Curry would average 15 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. How do we feel about that series? Only 15 points from Steph Curry? Okay. Jayson Tatum didn't show up. He didn't show up in the big moments when you needed him. Game 6, and, he didn't score in the second half, only 2. Well, how about Game 7 in the finals against the Cavs? You are now tied 3-3 after dropping your 3-1 lead. Steph Curry in that final game had 17 points, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, shot 31% from the field, 28.5% from 3. And in case you wanted to know what the outcome and the score was, or a reminder, it was a 4-point loss, 93-89. That was the game Draymond Green led them with 32 points, like 15 rebounds and 9 assists. He was like 6 or 7 for 8 from the 3. So again, you lose by 4 to the Cavs in a game that Draymond, that might have been the best damn game of his career. And the Hall of Fame superstar, finals MVP, one of the greatest of all time, only has 17 points, has more turnovers than assists or rebounds combined, shoots 28% from the 3, 31% from the field. And you know what that series against Houston and that series that they lost against the Cavs and that Game 7 shit performance means to me about Curry and his legacy? Absolutely nothing. You know why? Because I don't give a shit about one bad series or one bad game. It happens. People have off nights, right? if you took that away from the incredible career that Curry has had, you are being foolish. Now, obviously, Tatum, like I said, the majority of this season, he was 23. This kid's got another 12 plus years potentially to play. So we have to have this conversation. And like I said, 10 years, he'll be Curry's age. So we can obviously revisit. But so far in his young career, several ECF runs, a finals run, a perennial all-star, multiple time All-NBA. I mean, what more is it that you all want from this kid? Yes, he had a shitty series. It was inefficient. It was it was bad. And I'm sure he is kicking himself, because when you have a 2-1 lead and you're at your home TD Garden with a chance to go up 3-1, you have to pounce and capitalize on that. So I'm sure he's in the gym, in the lab, doing any and everything in his power to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And in fact, when you look at some of the moves the Celtics have made, bringing in Brogdon and Gallinari, you might be gearing up for another ECF/finals run here, guys. But again, I just wanted to shine a little bit of light on the incredible series that the incredible season that Jayson Tatum actually had throughout the 2021-2022 campaign. For me, coming into the year, like I said, I had him ranked right around like in between 12 or in between 10 and 15, kind of around the 12-ish mark. And basically what I was saying is I thought he was a star with the chance to take the step into superstardom. This was his first year with Ime as a head coach, Brad as an executive, and him and Jalen's first time as the true number 1 and 2 without like that other all-star crutch, like Kemba and Gordon and Kyrie and any of the other. I mean, no disrespect to Al, but you know what I mean. Like, so I thought he responded brilliantly. I thought his campaign this year was incredible. And for a guy, like I said, at his age, 23, turning 24, with the accomplishments and just the path forward and the future is as bright as it could ever be for this young man and for this team. He is, I believe, signed through 2025, 6, somewhere in there. It's a player option to end it, but he's just at the beginning of his new contract, which obviously his max contract. And God willing, at the end of it, we're talking about his super max, I guess, is what would be next. But I don't want to see this gentleman in any other damn color but the one he was drafted in, and that is green. So, like I said, Brad making the right moves, and I am excited as hell to see this upcoming year and to see him and this team grow on what they were able to accomplish this year. Again, I want to thank everyone so much for their time. You've been hearing some Summer League buzz. Travion Williams making some noise, incredible passing ability. Sam Hauser, we actually just did a video on this the other day. So if you didn't get a chance, go check out the Summer League preview, because we got it. Game 1 is what? Tomorrow, against Miami. So that'll be exciting. Can't wait to see some of these guys. Bagram Davison, Travion Williams, Kevin Gelly, etc. But again, guys, thank you all so much for your time. Jags to riches. James Peters, have an incredible rest of your week and an even better weekend. Take care, guys.